Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this show, this loaded show, this new series, this new Shift Talk series, where we take on all things taboo, metaphysical, spiritual, womanhood, wealth, wonder, and you add your own W or any other letter that you desire. And so this new series has been one that has been very handpicked. We've been very selective about who we invite to the conversation, to the table. And this series is called Why Didn't They Tell Us? Why didn't anybody tell us? The question that we are answering with each guest is an opportunity for us to take the veil off of secrets, of taboos, unspoken truths of womanhood, the mysteries of the dark feminine, to the messy reality of perimenopause and menopause, to the evolving dance of marriage and how we define our relationships and beyond. This is where we ask the questions the mothers, the mentors, and the media skipped. This is where we have the conversation that is not sugar coated and neatly packaged for consumption. This, if you are here, it's because something in you, it wants the raw truth and wisdom and a little humor, a little juicy to carry us through, because it's about time that somebody told us the thing that we didn't know that we didn't know, the thing we didn't know that we didn't know. And so I come like being super transparent about this show, because whenever we take on the mother, whenever we take on the mother, for some this can be a very heavy topic, and for others it is a call. And many of us never knew about a mother goddess. Some of us come from traditions where it's sacrilegious. Ouch, amen. If you're watching, it's sacrilegious to even talk about the divine feminine, much less God, a woman as God, when she really is the God that we've forgotten. Oh, Tony, I owe you a link. 1 second. And this is a level of self-initiation that we're talking about in many ways. And it really is my honor and my privilege to launch this series under any type of mothership, because she is what leads rebirth, and perhaps had been leading it all along when I thought that it was something else. Even is ordering my steps as well. And so this new series is really renewal. We started the series back in the spring and maybe got in 1.5 shows. One of them was with Dr. Tina. And so now we are bringing on someone who's very special to me. And I do want to set up this show because she's just like me. I know she's my sister because she processes like me. I've been to the airport. I have done a spiritual bath with my mother this morning. I've prayed twice in deep portals. We were in her book last night with barely a dry eye in the room. I mean, we have been, those of us who are in the portal, you are in the portal. Like that's our community, Coco. Um, and certainly those of you who've answered the next call of this work, because it's not ordinary womanhood. This is extraordinary, which is called extraordinary. And it doesn't mean to talk down or to minimize women, what people do in terms of women empowerment, but this is not the call that you're trying to take on from some woo-woo commercialized, monetized place, you know, because God is becoming a goddess, talking goddess became trendy. So we invited you all to the portal before, you know, there was a membership requirement. And let me say, we started this the mother tongue reading room with my book, much to my chagrin. But the sisters in the community demanded that we start with Juicy. And so we started on TikTok. And towards the end of TikTok, both Tony and I started to feel like, ugh, like there was an energy that was forced through their algorithm. And when you are sensitive, when you are gifted, you have to pay attention to those things. And we pulled back because we knew that, and basically we both were feeling it at the same time and didn't want to like rain on the parade. We wanted to honor our commitment. And we would said, this next one cannot be in TikTok because this is not for passerbys. This is not for trying to get you to tap on the screen. The screen that we want you to tap into is your Akashic record, into your heart when you hear these words. And so we went in for digging for mother's bones. I want you to let that sink in. And I want to welcome Coco, but I want to welcome Coco in truth and in transparency, because when I chat, like when I woke up this morning, one of our sisters who's been assisting me gave me a date that was not what we had discussed. And I was like, and I know I've been off, right? I know I've been off. And I've also been surrendering, letting people handle things, delegating, not having to do everything. So I was like, wait a minute, am I that off? Because I need to get back and do notifications. Then when I checked in, I had to check in with Coco, like, Coco, did you get a different date? And then she was like, no, but if you need to move it, we can move it. And she was like, let's see what happens. And that's when I knew we were in something unique, because I also, the discussion, Coco, she's watching, and I'm going to introduce her more, was so freeing, but it was not lightweight. It wasn't for the faint of heart last night from your book. And so I want to welcome our sister Coco Oya Sienna Ray to the stage, who is the author of this new baby, Digging for Mother's Bones, a guide to unearthing true feminine nature. And Coco is a thought leader. She's an artist. She is a translator of this thing that I've been calling the mother tongue. And the mother tongue is being a midwife to help women to tap into their own language. And not many women answer this part of the call, because some of them have to be awakened through another way before you get here. This is not, so those of you who are here, who are under the sound of our voice today, you got to know that there's something so healthy working in you, that you chose to be here in this room, on this podcast at this time, to hear these words. Coco, I don't know what you're pulling through, but you've been pulling through, girl. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Latonya. I am so honored to be on your podcast. You've got no idea, honestly. It's such an honor. And, you know, I feel like I've been preparing for this moment, because what you're talking about, this essence, this energy that we are transmitting, is so potent at this moment in time. Oh my God, the pull of her to speak and be fully embodied is like, there is no more messing about, women. Now is the time to get fully in the body. Yeah, I'm moving through a massive transition at the moment, and it's the first time where I've gone through a death rebirth cycle, fully like conscious, as in doing my daily things in my family and letting myself just disintegrate, because this energy that is being called to us now, like you was just introducing, everything that's gone before in the field of women's embodiment, sisterhood, spirituality, is like, it's not it. And I'm not like being facetious or, being
No,
big.
that's
It is
keep talking
the
because it was like you
underlayer,
were in the room.
yeah, the underlayer that is coming through, that pulse, that primal pulse of her, is like, it takes my breath away sometimes. It's like, I thought I was there when I wrote the book, but it's like, no, get in, go in further, go deeper, go
Yes,
into the very fabric of creation and
yes.
become
You
me,
said it.
become me.
I sent Tony check the link because she will tell you there has been an energy of grief.
Mhm.
Um, and we unpacked that last night. I didn't want to jump right into this because I really wanted to start with, you who is Coca. Like I have it in a three parts in my mind of where we were gonna start.
Well, she don't care. She's like, speak,
So, because
speak.
we want to know who is Coco, why Coco Oya
Mm.
and all of that. But I have to say, you came in, and I just came from dropping my mom off at the airport, and it has been an energy. It was an energy
Mhm.
that started last night, and even in our I'll bring you up in a moment, Tony. Our I just came transparent, just, and so did they, and each woman had something
Mhm.
that was being released. And
Mhm.
I talked about how this black moon Lilith is so activated because the new moon in Virgo was the black moon Lilith moon, and Lilith is actually active all year this year. So that's one of the reasons we've been feeling it. And so each one of us have been grieving different things. And I have to say, Coco, since we're going to go there,
Go there.
since we're going to go there already,
Mm.
I came in with, I went, I did a Rama. I do a Rama. It's where you just open the book and see where it
Yeah, yeah,
falls.
yeah.
And if it fell to your page 63.
Can I tell you, that book is not a book. It is an oracle. I do the same thing, and so many people have done the same thing. It's like they can't get past a certain number, like 33, but they just open the page and it's exactly what they need. And I've tested it over and over on myself. And it's like, what? Yeah, carry on. We'll go further into that.
So listen, I go to page 63. And this is what I opened with yesterday. It says, I have come to believe that the length of time you spend in the underworld is in direct correlation to how much you are not able to be yourself during childhood.
Mhm.
This is the place where most of your root wounding takes place. The place where we first begin to hide the truth of who we are as we get layered with programs passed down by our caregivers, just as they were passed down by theirs. Our job is to unravel the truth from that which is false and step away from the identity we have been molded to be. As we move through our earthly mother lines, we can truly connect with the fullness and the love of the mother. And then there was your quote on death. Soul
Mhm.
work is not a high road. It's a deep fall into an unforgiving darkness that won't let you go until you find the song that sings you home. McCall Erickson. So we went there last night.
Mm. Yeah. Mother will unravel you to be the purest, most aligned version of yourself. She wants you to be your fullness.
Yes.
She wants you to be whole, to feel yourself as her in female form. We carry her blueprint. And
Hmm.
it's a really big theme for me at the moment. There's a lot rattling in me. You want to know of death? It's like, wow, so much like unraveling in me around this specific thing about who carries the original codes of the mother. And it is Black women. And it's being dismissed a lot of the time. We were the original carriers of her codes. And we've been so desecrated on this planet and pushed to the sidelines. And the message that has been coming through strongly for me now is it is time to remember those codes in a deeper, more embodied, more gracious, more loving way, and to shed all that was imprinted on us because we were seen as less than. We were seen, as the darkness has always been vilified, whether that's on our skins or
Yes.
whether that's being, out in the field. And we
Yeah.
are a representation of what is taking place. Now, we are the holders of that key where everything that is not of love is being dismantled. It's not even a question. It is. It's in full flow and it's rattling everybody because those that have been in power, those that have held prestige, those that have been seen as privileged, are now feeling the true scarcity of their heart because you can't hate where you came from. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like it don't F you up. Sorry, but you may have thought that you were holding all the cards, but it is falling now because mother has said enough. We have practiced, we have gone through so many iterations of self as ourselves as human, and it's like there is nothing else to learn. It's why everything's on repeat. It's why everything that we see is on repeat. It's why the walls are all the same, look the same, act the same, all the desktops, everything's the same. We know this. So it's time for something new. And there are sirens like me, like you, that are holding this resonance and this vibration to bring forward now. And like we just said at the beginning of this call, oh, has it got louder? Oh my gosh. It is like a gong in me that I cannot ignore anymore. And
Same.
the set is like, oh wow, she is like on it, on me, on it. Like there is no more like I say this, there is no more rest. It's like there is no more me pretending that I'm not my right size, that I'm not big, that I haven't got a message to bring, that I
Mhm.
haven't come to activate a lot of women, you
Yeah.
know. But there's also this thing where over the last month, she's allowed me to really taste rest, to not do anything because there is and has been a deep program, especially in women's bodies who are Black, that we can't rest, that rest isn't allowed, that we have to continue to strive to obtain just a millimeter of something. And the more I've rested into my body, it's like these ancient codes have come online where I remember the regality of being in my Black body. I remember that. I remember coming from kings and queens. I remember that sense of sovereignty and majestic being that is now being asked to brought forward from this primal and dark energy. And I didn't realize it at the time that when I was transmitting that book, that that was the energy. I felt it in snippets as I wrote. But what you say, wherever you open that book, it will activate you into a remembrance, and it will, like if you're doing the death thing, it will purge it will make you go there. It will make you go into the depth of feeling all the grief that has been held down the ancestral line because it's ready to go. It's
Yes.
ready to be replaced with abundance and joy and deep love and deep reverence for life and body and the womb and all that delicious power that emanates through the radiant body of woman when we are aligned with that other feminine.
Yes. Now you mentioned a moment ago you were talking about, knowing that you were a siren, and how,
Mhm.
and I want, how did you, I want to introduce you properly now, before we have some more talk about the book with our
Mm,
sister, who's been leading the Mother Tongue reading room circle, that
mm.
where your book was number two. Um, how did you first know that you were a siren? And
Do you
what is
know,
a siren? Tell everybody.
I didn't know that I was a siren. A siren for me is a voice for the mother. It is someone who brings through not just her words, but the transmission of her frequency and her energy, like a soul song that activates deep in the women that hear the call. A soul song. Imagine a dog whistle. It's like such a high, clear frequency that you can only align to it if you're in that resonance, if you're ready to open and receive it, and be in alliance with her. She doesn't do hierarchy. It's not like, we're worshipping a deity. We are emissaries of her, ambassadors for her, and we're bringing through this crystal clear clarity of what it feels like to be deeply embodied, what it feels like to be in the resonance of love.
Mm.
And I didn't know that that was my journey at all. In fact, I think I fought it most of the time. And it's only in the last 2 days that I've had a remembrance of this signal contacting me when I hit puberty.
Mm.
And yeah, it was such a deep remembrance through somebody else speaking about the remembrance of being in these dark underground caves in their dreams as a young girl, and like navigating and feeling this primal pulse, but almost being afraid of it because it was so like dark, obsidian dark, and being a young girl being initiated through these like dark visions. It was a lot to take in. So it's like I feel like I've come full circle now, that all that time she's been sending these subtle messages about connecting to the deep and that primal energies of her. And it's all like just clicked in the last 2 days around the truth of that call and what we are here to do in a big way to activate the women. Like we said, we have reached a pinnacle where in the field of women's spirituality, we keep hitting a glass ceiling and it's turning on itself, and it's almost like cannibalism, like eating itself. I think it's just going around the loops and then the hitting sister wounds and the same thing, and it's like
Oh,
no,
speak on that. Speak on that. Hitting sister
yeah,
wounds.
it's time to go through the glass ceiling now, because what
Mm-hmm.
happens when your energy loops like that and becomes swampy, it's like there is nowhere for it to go. It gets pushed out of the body in projection. So the things that you don't look at in yourself, you'll see it in somebody else, and then try and call it out, and it leads into competition, thinking that you know there's not enough room for everybody when there's ample room. You're just in the wrong
Oh
room.
my God, I have chills in my
You
head.
know?
That means that my ashe is really speaking, because this is the art that you have, is that you have the way to be able to articulate it. And I did think that there was something up, because it makes no sense, the number of women that come through programs, and I've seen them come through mine, and instead of build together, they go out and create their own thing.
Mhm.
And that's not a bad thing, but it's
No.
when you go out and you don't feel like you can stay present with where you started. It's like
Mhm.
a dishonoring of the mother in many ways, because
Mhm.
we as women mother each other.
Yeah.
And so when you get mothered in your sisterhood and you abandon it, someone said, I heard someone say, this thing that we do, even if it's not conflict or call outs that you're talking about, I've been seeing this thing that we also do, where we completely shut down on people, leave people, and it's a form of abuse.
Mhm. It's an old way. It's old.
It's old. It's old. And so the way you just articulated it, in terms of turning in on itself in sister, what did you call it? Sister wounds? Sister what?
Yeah, it's the sisterhood wounds. Yeah,
Sisterhood
yeah.
wounds.
It's like having a beautiful garden, but then never tending to it. So of course it overgrows and the weeds get, overtake everything and suck all the life out of it. That's what's happening in the field at the minute with women. Like you said, there's this essence of scarcity where, well, I have to go and be in my own little corner now to do my
Yeah.
thing. And like, no, it was never meant to be like that. We are women. We connect through womb energy, essence, but because that's also being depleted on the planet, it's like we've forgotten what it means to be actual in co-creation with life and co-creation with each other. And this is where we're going. There is nothing to be afraid of, but so many, I feel at the moment, are like clinging on for dear life to the old way. And it's like, and this is why it's like stepped up over the last few days. She's like, do you know what, Coco? If you're feeling this like this, you need to be the one that blasts through. And I've had to come through all the places where I felt like, oh, I can't have a big enough, my voice is going to be too much. This is going to be too much. All those and it's like, no, that kind of dissipated over the last 2 days when I got this real primal sense of, I am an embodiment of her. I am taking her on now. This is what we do at this level. And there is no competition when we're at this level because we know that we are forming an energetic network together and weaving together the very fabric of humanity and collective energy that is going to shift the show. And so, yeah.
Chills again. Because it feels what I heard my Ashe saying while you were talking, and when you talked about weaving together and this thing that is happening for the daughters or the sirens, if you will, or the other mothers, is those of us who are weaving, I feel in many ways are covered. We've been covered from a lot of the bullshit. In many ways, that level of willingness to do the weaving has been a protection for us in so many ways, because I can't say I've been a part of any other, direct fallouts, but I've seen them. I didn't understand them, and I've mostly had my heart broken through the women that you nurture and pour into, and then they do the betrayal thing, or the I'm gonna go build a, like, okay, what? but
Yeah.
and then not even speaking about it. But lately, mother has been saying, no, what you just said, it's time to no longer suffer in silence, because that also is the old big mama model that we've learned about motherhood.
The suffering, the sacrifice, the martyrdom, all that level. It's like, no.
Yeah.
We did not come here to suffer and make martyrs of ourselves. And that has been the program that has been running, particularly when it comes to mother, in all forms, earthly, cosmically, all forms.
Yeah.
And so now it's like the remembrance is of abundance, of fullness, of rightness, of, having enough capacity to hold the entire universe if
Multiples. Yes.
you know what I mean?
Be pregnant with multiple.
It's like we are multidimensional beings just by the sheer fact we have wombs as women. We bring in life from other dimensions. When you think about it, where does a soul come from if not from the fabric of creation?
Yes.
And we bring that in through our body. So we need to start looking at the body as a living technology rather than just this physical thing that we discard and don't take care of as the vessel. And that is why I talk a lot about embodiment in my book, because it's the number one thing. To be in resonance with mother, to break through all that wounding, the mother wound, the sisterhood wound, the creational wound, all these things.
I don't trust women wound.
Yeah, all of it. It's like, you have to feel it in your body and let it move through and know that you have the capacity for it to alchemize into something greater.
Yes.
and like support each other through that. No more thinking that we are not unified. We are, and what affects one affects the other. It
All
may
the
not feel like that. You may think you're just off doing your thing, but it's like the butterfly effect. It has a ripple effect through the field. And the more we become conscious and aware, it's like now it's very hard for me to step out of alignment because of what you're saying around um, not being able to be in the bullshit is because it's like being tuned to a tuning fork. And
time.
so anything that's discordant just feels so like wrong in the body. It feels so incongruent. It almost makes me physically say, oh, it gives me illness, or I have to take to my back because it's so discordant. And it's like, oh, wow, I totally have to remove myself from that field and start having a bird's eye view of actually what is taking place so that I can radiate this essence into the field. That is my job.
How did you start using the language so clearly of mother? Like, tell us a little bit of like what your spiritual journey has been, because there are some. This is a very adept conversation. I'm glad that some of you who are listening. There's when people like us talk, I have an audience that will say things like, I don't understand that stuff y'all are saying, but something about it felt
Mm-hmm.
good. So they don't
Yeah.
even, there's so many people who still don't speak energy language. And
Mm-hmm.
so certainly divine feminine language, pussy language.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a very arduous journey. I'm not going to say it's been easy because it hasn't. I experienced a lot of childhood trauma, physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, and it shut me down. I stopped talking, I became mute. And so the journey of getting here to be speaking her language so crystal clear has like been long.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so rewarding now because it is such a healing frequency. Like you said, people don't need to understand the words, they just need to feel. It is frequency first. I speak in the language of frequency. I could be saying blah, 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 and it wouldn't matter. It's a resonance, it's a feeling. And so I'll I'll skip a lot of my life. I was so like oh, devoid of spirit when I got to in my late 20s, and I had a spontaneous awakening, but it was so spontaneous. When I say spontaneous, I was hearing, seeing, feeling, sensing spirit literally overnight, and I thought I'd gone mad because I wasn't spiritual at the time, and that was in the year 2000. And I got sectioned, and I eventually learned to shut myself down after a year or so and completely shut myself down, but so much so that by the time I got to 2019, I had a near-death experience because through wanting to die, basically, because I just wasn't connected to anything, and I just thought my life was a shit show. Basically, I couldn't get out of the trap of the trauma and the limiting beliefs, and
Okay.
so
Mm-hmm.
I felt my soul like almost give me an ultimatum. If you don't get yourself together, I'm leaving. And I just was like, well, leave that because I'm done. I don't even want to live anymore. And I could feel the essence of me leaving my body and yeah, it was the most peaceful, loving thing that's ever happened to me because I fell into the arms of the mother.
Oh, wow.
And um yeah, I had a death review. The chapter that you're talking about, the one about death, is like the main pinnacle one because I had a death review in that time. And she said to me, you can leave if you want. There is no judgment on the other side, but let me show you why your life has been so hard and why it is going to be so beautiful on the other side. And that quote that you read at the beginning, where it is as deep as you go down, is as high as you're going to fly. And she showed me the fullness of my life. And so I agreed to come back. And I thought it was going to be all rosy and sunshine after that, but it wasn't. And so I learned the language of command, that we are here to be in co-creation with God, Goddess. And so I commanded her. It was like, right, if this is my life, if I am here, then I am commanding you to bring me everything I need in that moment to assist me to get well, to assist me to understand what on earth we are all doing here, because I don't get it. I don't get it. When I came here as a child, I had visions and remembrances of God telling me that I was coming to paradise. And so ending up in a very violent household and then a very violent world, I was like, get me out of here. This is not what you promised, you know? And now I know we are the creators of that. We are bringing that essence and remembrance back, that we are the heaven on earth. We are the ones to bring that forward. And so it's been a stripping away of all the beliefs, all the like conditioning, all the false language that we've been programmed with as women. And so I choose my words very wisely now, because I know that words at this frequency, at this level, have a resonance and go out into the field and create
Yes,
reality.
yes, yes.
They create our reality. So I'm very consciously aware um, of the vibration of what comes out of me as,
Yes.
as I speak.
Now you went on to do other work. Or did you do workshops, rite of passage? Like, is there any particular work that just really started to pull in
So,
the command energy?
so I had to let all that go, because I went and discovered lots and lots of healing techniques, um, energy work, and I've had to let all that go. And a couple of years ago, I was given in a dream a vision of a spiral, a double spiral, a bit like the labyrinth where people walk in and walk out. And so I created this thing, and I do ancestral work with it now, where um, because all timelines are running congruently,
That's right.
are together. And so this that was given to me by one of my original ancestors in a dream, is it helps people to walk in and let the thing go energetically and then reclaim the thing that they need to. And that's, as they're walking, is they become like trance-like. It's a bit like the book. It's like they don't know what they're feeling, but they know they're letting go of. And the first time when it's like, when I used it, I just thought, surely it can't be this simple that we can do like eons of ancestral work just walking this thing. But it is, it's like an original symbol of creation, the spiral, because all nature is in spirals and anti-clockwise spirals. And it's only us as humans that have been conditioned to go against our true nature and to be linear rather than cyclical beings. And so it brings
Yes.
us back into that remembrance, being cyclical beings and unraveling the codes that have been passed down through the ancestral line. And then they reclaim the true ancestral like imprints, because a lot of what we carry isn't even ours. Do you know? Not, it's not even our lineage. It's like being implanted in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you are talking my talk. Think I need. We might have to do a part two. Be- because yes, we many of us are GMO. I call it
Yeah.
GMO womanhood,
Mm-hmm.
genetically modified womanhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've become synthetic
Yeah.
instead of organic, and the organic journey does mean you have to shed. But I do think that the a part of the implantation has been the comfort zones that put us in corporate America, that took us
Mm-hmm.
out of our sovereignty
Mm.
as
And away from our original medicine, it's
oh,
like we,
yes.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, and the further, the more educated you become, the further away you are, the more sanitized. And then
Mm-hmm.
there is a process of where educated women oftentimes have the most difficulty shedding. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen that in terms of,
Yeah.
your degrees and your,
Yeah.
and so now you have to unlearn something that
Mhm.
you have been identified with and through, and
Mhm.
you have been rewarded with the monetary success, of it as well. So I do see a lot of let me speak for my friends. Maybe I just have a lot of bougie friends.
It's a collective thing because women then become masculine and talking heads rather and they're disconnected from their bodies. Women were meant to live in our bodies, but we've been conditioned away from that because we've emanated a system that
Mhm.
is so incongruent to us. So it's like it's a challenge to come back into the body because it means you have to become sensitive and you have to feel. And most people don't want to do that because you don't just get to feel the good stuff. You have to feel all the bad stuff. And
Oh my
so,
God.
you know what
Highlight.
I mean?
I need, what do I need? I need like some clappers or something. Because listen, this is why Juicy is no longer just a sensuality program. The mother
Mhm.
had me start there, but
Mhm.
when I began to do the work, Juicy became so much more than about
Mhm.
sensuality
Yeah.
and sensual transformation, but it is through the senses that the woman must feel again,
Yeah.
and no longer hold it in shame and guilt, in
Mhm.
order to get to the place of even
Mhm.
being able to take the She Rose journey. And so,
Mhm.
so many of us have been so disgusted with our own selves in the way that we cover or over, the way that it's so much disconnect in the field of womanhood. So when you just said that the embodiment, you have to become sensitive again,
Mhm.
and even spiritually, right?
Mhm.
Because when I just said that I was with my mother, I was feeling everything.
Mhm.
My mother is living, but I'm watching her and I was feeling something, right? And instead of running from the feeling, I had to dance with it.
Mhm.
And that's how I realized I was grieving. I was grieving the mother that is slipping away
Mhm.
in many ways, announcing her death
Mhm.
to me. Like I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna be here. Like, and dancing.
Got chills.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
I cried the whole way here. That's when I said embodiment, but I
Mhm.
wasn't afraid of it. It was just I needed to release it. But when I was trying to contain it, it became like you said, how the mother will put you in a position. Well, like you cannot
Yeah.
just go back to that, because I
No.
was like, what is this? Oh my God,
Mhm.
what is this? I don't get here that much. I could feel
Mhm.
how off center I was, but
Mhm.
because I was in the field that wounded me.
Mhm.
But even in the elevation of the perception where I'm not a victim, I chose that wound. And mother has said to me in so many ways, you chose that one so that you could get to me.
Yeah.
This one. Hi,
Ex-
what I'm saying?
Exactly that. Exactly that. I've come to so much peace around the torment I had as a young girl because it was like I can see the beauty of all the tragedy and the trauma got me to be so in tune with her, with mother, that is like I'm not saying that was worth it because, like I said, it was arduous to get there, but I understand the process of going through those initiations and rites of passage and over and being stripped bare and like shedding skins and like every time you think you've got to an identity, like, no, sorry, get rid of that. Because like you, I started with the sensuality, the tantra path,
Yeah,
and like we said, that now is like there's more. There's so much more. That's just a starting point. But a lot of people get stuck there because it feels good, right?
right.
But it's like it's a starting point of learning to be present, of learning to be with your senses, of learning to feel spirit, of learning to feel and connect to another soul, of learning to not hide behind your bullshit, of learning, to be truthful with yourself, learning specifically a yes and a no without feeling guilt, shame, embarrassment of your desires. It's like it's 101. You know, that's the
Yes.
starting point.
That's right.
Beyond that, beyond that, there is a reason why we need to get sensitive, that sensitive, and it is to be in correlation with creation because we
Yes.
are creational beings. And what happens when people get stuck in that like ego driven, like sensual lust phase thing is that we get what we see outside in the world, that striving for false power, that power over, that sense of there's not enough to go around. You know, that sense of we need to take from another, that sense of loss, that sense of like taking energy rather than reciprocity, rather
Hmm.
than yeah, togetherness. And like it's like we've done that for centuries and it's like it's done. But come 2027, which is like in a year and a bit, you know, the tide is turning. We are in a massive collective like death and rebirth process. And
Yes.
astrologically, when that gateway hits in 2017 in January, it's like the old like cosmic clock is done and this new one begins. So it's like we are being forced now to get into alignment. It's like we're in a 9 year and
Yes.
so it's all about completion and it's all about facing your stuff. So there is no escape. So why not just get on board? Because, like you said, you had all that grief and things that you felt today, but because you rested back into the fabric and like went with it, it passes. It begins to pass. It's like we're meant to work in correlation with that energy, not fight it, and not like feel like life is coming to an end because we're feeling something. We have been conditioned away from feeling. We are feeling beings. And so, you know, as the veils get thinner, we will feel more. So
And
let's
we're
train
in
that.
that cycle right now. We're in that portal
Exactly.
from the new moon in Virgo to the next moon. So it's a double moon in Virgo energy.
And we're also leading up to eclipse season. So
Eclipse,
that's
no,
all
right. And the
that's all
energy,
something.
yeah, the next moon in Virgo is an eclipse,
Yeah.
a lunar moon,
Yeah.
and the lunar is the mother, which takes us back to the waters, which takes us to Yemoya, which takes us to the nine. It's all the mothers. Oya, which your name, which is I still hadn't gotten a chance to get to
Yeah.
Coco, Oya, Sienna, Sienna Ray. Okay, so like all of those names have meanings, but
Yeah.
we she's speaking everywhere. But if you don't speak mother and you're still speaking patriarchy, then you're in
Mhm.
fear. You're
Mhm.
then you a lot of people are like NP, what do they call
Oh, NPCs,
NPCs?
non-player character. Yeah.
Yeah, it is like
Mhm.
the NPC of our energy is being exposed, even if it's around us. A lot
Mhm.
of people are on programs like bots,
Mhm.
and so to see how people how it's showing up, it's been very very interesting. And I see the
Mhm.
mother everywhere. Her waters are speaking, the volcanoes are speaking.
Mhm. Everything is speaking right now.
Yes.
And this is, like you said, it's a choice point. We can go down the organic route or we can go inorganic. Like you said, become like an almost robotic
Mhm.
AI, synthetic AI kind of thing. There's just no coincidence that AI is ramping up now because it's like the mirror of what is happening to people. And we're either going to the organic route, which is mother and life, or we're going down there and it is a split.
Yes. Well, I
Yeah.
want to pull people in who are listening and you haven't heard of this
Mhm.
book. We spent some time, and I want to pull in our sister Tony, who also has been so she's coming representing some of the things that we heard. So those of you who are in the comments, if you had questions or a page or a chapter, I want to just read some of the chapters from Coco's book, Digging for Mother's Bones. Once again, even the artwork is it speaks with, like with no words. Tell you, we could just do an exercise on what you see when you look at this, right? um but here are the chapters. There's an opening. Part 1, real. Part 2, raw. Part 3, radiant. It's almost like it reads as a process. The closing is evolution. And in each one of these, she shares some of her story. She gives exercises. And one of our sisters, Tony, let me know when you're ready to come up. One of our sisters said that she was clearing something and she went to page 40 and 41. And as she was sharing just five of the activations on this page, I was looking down doing something.
Just got to
I
that.
said, what? And, and I said, wow, what page is that on? Because I had not made it there. And it was one of the activations I needed in that moment because of something that I was experiencing in the company and in the presence of my mother.
Mm.
And so I want to bring, and those of you, if you feel ouch, amen, a page number who are watching, you can't get on. We are bringing, this is a member, not only a member of Team Rebirth, but just of my spiritual community, has been for years. We've moved together. This is Tony LaRae, Coach Tony LaRae, who works with girls. What like an
Mm.
honor
Mm.
to have a woman holding this space like this and then can go out and mother these young girls who are doing this work. And so you'll see her, the name of her company, She, Her, Me.
Mhm.
So
It's
welcome,
a pleasure.
Tony.
Thank you. Thank you. Greetings, Coco. Greetings, Dr. Latanya.
Greeting.
It is a
Greetings.
Yeah.
pleasure to be here.
I wanted to bring you on so you could represent some of the things that you heard last night, because we asked the sisters to one send questions, but we're not, or comments,
Hmm.
but just some of the things that you heard last night come, or in the whole discussion, because I haven't been there. I've been letting her while I've been with my mother.
Mm.
Okay. First I want to say, Coco, thank you for your obedience in writing this book. Although you may not have been aware of what it was going to bring forth or what fruit it was going to, how the fruit was going to feed us. I want to say
Mm.
thank you for your obedience, because what I recognize, not only in you, but also in Dr. Latanya, is that many times when you guys put pen to paper, it is a seedling. It is a
Mhm.
seeding for, and you have no idea where the seeds are going to fall. And just when you think that, oh, I've written that book years ago, I may need to, it may not be relevant anymore. Here comes Mother to remind you that I told you to write it, and now I'm preparing the people that need to hear it and feed off of it.
Mhm.
So I just want to say thank you both for your obedience, and the words that are on these pages are going to live on forever, beyond your lifetime. I definitely, we definitely did it in a Raymer way, but I've also been reading it from front to back.
Mhm.
And just watching some of the women that have come into the room from day one to the last day, which was last night, to see the evolution of even their light. It was almost like, you entered the room and it was pretty dark, shades closed, not wanting to be the first one to participate. To, no, I got something to say. Look, this page, like, I mean, just really embodying the words into their lives to the point where they felt seen. They
Mhm.
felt like somebody finally got it. It's in the book. Somebody wrote
Mhm.
about my life. It's like watching a Lifetime movie, right? And you're on your couch and you're like, how they know that this happened to me? And
Mhm.
they quickly can relate to those words and those scenarios and those real life stories and understand that I am not alone.
Mhm.
So that is the first thing. It has created a community where we can talk freely and understand that we are not alone, and there's an answer to our madness. We're not going to fall off the cliff, right?
Mhm.
Because some people felt that way. They were just like, I've always been this way. I don't know that I can change. Your book has given codes for hope. It has given clarion calls to, you're going to make it. Just hang in there. And then the sisterhood of the rebirth community allows space for the sharing, and then the hype me up, sis, We're going to hype each other up, and we're going to keep pushing them and pushing them in love, you
Mhm.
know? So I mean, first of all, I am thankful to be a witness, right? When Dr. Latanya asked me how would I like to collaborate with her in her ministry, the first thing I was like, I don't know, but leading book discussions and hearing personal interpretations of words that I may have read and they may have read, but um, the vast unpacking of it and how different it is, but yet how similar it is, has been amazing for me. It has opened up my heart. It has allowed me to grieve freely. It has allowed me to rest. It has
Mhm.
allowed me to identify there are codes, and I have
Mhm.
them, and to be gentle with myself as I undig them.
Mhm.
Because I'll tell you, there were some women, I actually saw them as we were undigging it and the dirt started coming up, they started putting the dirt back on. They wanted
Yeah.
the comfort of the dirt. And I'm like, okay, well, let's look at it a different way. Or another sister would speak, and that would give them confirmation that they can let the dirt come off. You don't
Mhm.
have to worry about being exposed, because we are all in this together, and we're not body shaming, we're not
Mhm.
experience shaming, we're not doing any of that. We're loving each other through all of it that you're dealing with. It doesn't matter who we are. So that was the beautiful thing about the book. I wrote down a couple of things as you guys were talking. I wrote down, it's been a massive cover up to bury the essence of womanhood.
Yeah.
And I think that this book and the conversations that Dr. Latanya has been having with all of us that are in the community is that we are now all coming with our tools to uncover the bullshit,
Yeah.
to stand in our power, to reclaim everything that they told us was everything that they told us that was not true. Because now when you see it, you can't unsee it. So one of the questions that came up for in our group, and I'm gonna paraphrase it, how would you guide a woman who has experienced sexual abuse back to herself?
The same way I would guide any woman, because we live in a culture where there are degrees of sexual violence on women's bodies. You've disappeared. Are you there?
Yes, I'm
Ah,
here.
and so the first key is always to come back to the body, to just begin to sit with the body, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, to just breathe in and feel. No, you're not breathing in a passive way, you're breathing in a way where you know that each breath is bringing life back to your body. Your body has the answers. And so we have to get quiet enough to begin to hear the whispers. But like you've said, a lot begin to hear the whispers and then they want to shut down, cover it up, because it means that you have to feel. So I always suggest just 5 minutes a day of really going in and feeling, beginning, allow the things to begin to percolate, to begin to begin to loosen the dirt a little. And breath work is beautiful for that. And just being present with your body, and just sending the signal to your body that you are here now as mother to nurture that child within that's going to be feeling the things. Because all trauma just wants completion. And so we have
Mhm.
to take radical responsibility in knowing that we have the capacity. If we're beginning to feel it, it's because a part of us has the capacity to hold it. And like you said, to do it with other women. This is no longer about we are the lone wolf. We are doing this
That's
together.
right. That's right.
And when one of us recalibrates in that way, it activates the others to recalibrate in that way. And so another thing is not to think that you're just doing it for yourself. You are doing it for the women in your circles around yourself. Um, and we do need support for that, because it has been an imprint that has conditioned women to believe that they are powerless in some way, and that men are predators. And it's conditioned men to feel that they are predators and that they have to take. in that way. And so, like we said, getting in touch with the senses is like number one priority. And there are exercises in that book around that, around just being present and being with the body. And there's also a pussy prayer, and there's also a wound declaration. And it's beginning to start to talk to those parts of your body. And I wrote those in such a way where it's not specific about trauma or sexual abuse, but it does speak to that, I think, because that's my story, right? And so when I wrote the book, there are, like you said, there are snippets of my story throughout, to give context. But each of those exercises are things that I did for myself to get back in my body and declare that I owned my own body. And so, yeah, just doing those on repeat and letting the layers come off slowly. It's like you said, it's not a race to like dig them all up at once. It's like we dig up a few weeds and then we sit with it and we feel it and we allow the body to recalibrate. But we can talk to the body and tell it that it is safe now, the danger is past. And beginning to love it in a deeper way. And when I finished writing that book, well, I didn't initially think it was going to be a book. A lot of that came about because it was my journal entries to myself. I needed to understand what the hell was happening to me, what was happening to my life. And so I didn't know it was going to become a book. It was just me writing and listening and trying to make sense of my own life. And so when I got to the end of putting what I needed to put in that book, there was a big chunk left over around specifically self-loving the body, self-loving. So there is a part 2 that's going to come around the deeper things. But like Latonya's already said, the transmission of that book, and like you said as well, Tony, you can open that book and it will give you what you need. And each person could read the same passage, but they will get something different. And it's beautiful that you're reading it together, because then you begin to build a bigger picture together, and you may not think that you're doing the healing collective work, but you are, just simply by being with each other and witnessing each other's story. Yeah, that's a really big thing, to begin to loosen the shame around it, because we should not be ashamed that we've been violated. 100, but we've been made to feel that we are shameful because we've been violated. And so being in circles with women where we can just speak our story, where it's not about rescuing each other or pitying each other or consoling each other or colluding with each other, just being present with each other to offload it in the ethers and know that Mother's with us. We're in collaboration with her and she can send the healing balm that we need. Just to be witnessed by others is simply enough to get the ball and thread unraveling in your life.
Ashe. Ashe, you said something, and I immediately thought about how powerful our voices are when we use them. A lot of times, women are suffering in silence. They are not in community. They're not talking about the things because they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
And what I received from this book is that it is not your burden to carry alone, unless you choose to.
Yeah.
I became empowered by the words when you spoke of, like going through it, and you guys talked about it a little bit. It's truly going through the shadow, going through the darkness, right? And if we stop in the middle, we get stuck there.
Yeah.
And it could be years that pass.
Absolutely.
And we don't even realize that we're in this shadow because we are loving on the pain.
Yes. Yes.
You talk about that in your book. Can you talk a little bit more about how we live in the pain and love on the pain and make love to the pain and without moving?
Because the pain becomes our identity, and then the pain becomes something where it's where we get assistance. It's like, when you're a little child and you hurt yourself, it's like it's maybe the only time that you get some attention, even if it's bad attention. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we bring that into our like collaborations with other women, and you can see it where it's like one will tell a story and then the other one's like a sub story, and then it becomes a thing where you're rolling it together, and then it's like it feels like sister, it feels like you're getting somewhere, but it's not. You're just soothing each other rather than moving the energy through your body, which is why I say embodiment is key. Getting to feel sensation in your body so that you can feel where you're holding energy, where you move energy, where what it does in your body. You are mastering yourself as a vessel. So it's like feel first, because you'll also then feel that most of those beliefs and stories and things that are inside you aren't even yours. They don't resonate with you.
No.
And so, but how can you feel that if you don't allow yourself to feel that? And this is the thing. When I first started feeling, oh my God, was it painful? Yes, it was, because it was like thawing out. But then there became a time when I think that a really big emotion, and then it'd pass, and I'd go, oh, was that it? like I thought there was some big monster thing, and it was like just a small little thing. It's like we can build up what we think it's going to feel like because we've carried the pain for so long.
Well,
But our body is designed to move energy.
I think that one of the places that we've gotten stuck, particularly Black women all over the world, is that we know that mother is to be adored, but what happened is it became taboo, and this is, why didn't anybody tell us about the mother? She's that powerful because Black women in particular don't talk about the wounding from their mothers. It's very taboo. It is therapy alone has been taboo for Black Americans, but to be able to say, I've been hurt, the source of my wound comes from my upbringing, and the Black man of in America has taken a huge hit in terms of him not being there, him not being present, and so he becomes a real target. But then there is something that's shifting, but I'm hearing the young people say things like no contact. So like Gen Z they're going no contact with their mother.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ways that they are handling the wound and talking about it without any type of care. But Gen Z, I mean Gen X, many of us are in our 50s and just now starting to actually speak the pain. And what I will say this, I do want to say the part, to pull it into the wholeness as well. Last night when I came on and I told you I heard one of the sisters reading the activations that she used,
Mm-hmm.
it was something I needed. And what Tony just said, it's not okay to just be one of you said, it's not okay to do it alone, be the lone
Yeah.
ranger. This is not the
Mm-hmm.
season. But this is what she said. She said, I release, this is what you said, but she read. She said, I release any trauma bonding with my mother and know that it is okay to set boundaries. I am still safe and loved if I do. And I had set a firm bound. I had just moments ago before I had come on. And the weight of, I don't know if she's going to be here, if this is the last time I'm going to see her, but the sovereign self in me also said that does not give license to be abused again in that way. And so I had to set a firm boundary, but I still could feel the tinge of guilt and what do I do? And, the pull on me in any direction not to participate, but being in sisterhood helped me to hear what I needed in that moment. But also your wisdom to be able to go to know that women needed to be released from that guilt is,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that happens belly to belly, woman to woman.
Mm-hmm. to carry this wisdom, I've had to know all sides of mother and all sides of motherhood. And my own eldest does not speak to me. You know, she created that barrier and that boundary with me because I was in so much pain and trauma myself. I did things that I know I shouldn't have done, and I did think, and I was so close that it was like painful for her not to have like full intimate contact with me. And so I write about that in the book because I really love her for that, because it woke me up to
Mm,
the fact that there was something amiss and I needed to dig deeper. I needed to look deeper as to what was going on between the lineage, what was actually happening in my lineage, what was happening for my mother at the time, why she treated me the exact same, you know, why it carried on, and you know it went through eons and eons and layers of the disruption to Black women around motherhood, right back to generations where we weren't allowed to be mothers. Our
mhm.
children were taken from, you know, and
Yeah, yeah,
we have to nurse other ancestors, other women's children. So it messes with our minds. So we have all that still in our collective, but because we don't talk about those things, we don't acknowledge them, we push them aside, and we then believe that it is something to do with us, but it could be something that an ancestor's faced, or something that's in the collective field, or just a program that's been imprinted. So it's like there is so much to feel. And this is why I'm saying that it's not always your stuff that you're carrying. And it's not always your stuff that's interfering in your lineage. But because it's there, it's like you said, learning that you are the vessel that it needs to move through. And that's what I came to. If I'm feeling these things, then I am going to believe wholeheartedly what I've been told, that we are powerful beings. And I'm
yeah.
going to believe wholeheartedly that I am energetic and that I can move it. It may be painful. It
Mhm.
may take time. I may not understand what the hell I'm doing, because most of the time I didn't at the time. But I just trusted that there is a faith that happens because you know you are guided by something greater than yourself. And this is the thing, it's like we're not just doing it alone as in collective of women. We're not doing it alone in relation to source. You know, this is a time of reckoning. It's been written in the stars. It is happening. There
Yeah.
is no escape. So it's like we have to know that all those prophecies that we've heard trickle down the line, that this is a great, you know, switch over of consciousness in your mind. We have to like start believing that as reality, and stop like being mesmerized that, you know, there's something happening. Yeah, there's something happening. We're changing the fabric of creation. And as women, we are assigned to do that in a bigger way. And it's time to come together now. And I'm just so grateful for forums like this where my message can come out in a bigger way. And, you know, I've been schooled over the summer because it's like, I still had that mesmerized thing like, oh, did I do a thing? Did I create a book? Did I? Was that me? And it's like, yes, that was you. You have something to say. And so many of us, like turning saying, have something to say, but we've been conditioned to believe that we have nothing that has no relevance. But look what's happened to me, just sitting up on a night, writing journal, going, oh my God, what is this? You
Yeah.
know? And then following the little nudges along the way of, put this together, send this here, do this thing. It may not make logical sense, and it didn't to me, because not only was I classified as mentally disturbed, I was classified as dyslexic. I'm dyslexic, you know, and so to think that I could write a book was even like, I think you've got the wrong person. Or surely you've got the wrong person. I can't write, you know. But then that's what made me realise I'm not supposed to understand English, you know, written language. I'm understanding frequency. I'm understanding putting words on a page that create a transmission for people to feel. I am here as a feeler and as a woman who is sensual and sensitive, connected to that erotic impulse, and to use it as a creative force, because that's where we're going back to. That's what created life.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is a super show, y'all. So that we're going over a little bit, and I want to get your words. I know Tony has a couple of more comments that came from our study last night, but I do want to capture those who have been sharing and reacting to some of the things that we said. Ebony Wheeler said that that's powerful and factual. We are oftentimes here to let things move through us in order to heal it and create the shift. Thank you, Ebony. Absolutely. And this, it's beautiful to hear. Bessie said, I leave Tuesday to see my mom, so I go expecting now to let go of all trauma, to speak life and feel all that I have consciously and unconsciously buried, locked, ignored, and let go of pain, addiction. Oh my goodness.
Ashe.
Yes.
Witnessing you there. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Megan, who also has been in the book discussions, said unknowingly addicted to pain because it was familiar. And I knew how to show up in that, not realizing that it kept me out of my body and instead in my head.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Um, Dee said that I love the way the wisdom in this book anchors me in my body.
Mm. Ashe.
A. Jones said, can you speak more on when a young girl is touched too early sexually, how that affects her life going forward? I think she did, but we'll definitely get to it. Let me grab a couple more comments just in case. Michelle says, as a reader and student of this text, has provided a healing balm to rebirth.
Mm.
Melissa said, watching their mortality, when I was talking about my mother, it sticks on the inside. A new understanding seems so far away at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's true.
Mm. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you want to speak to the question?
I do. And I just want to say about the mortality piece as well, because I write about the passing of my mum in the book, because that was again a big catalyst to me having to find out around and excavate these mother codes, but also deal with the mother wound in a bigger way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I have two, like, what could seem as opposing things when it comes to what happens to the female body when it's touched too early. I know that I came in, like I said, with that sense of an erotic impulse. And I do believe it's what triggered unwanted attention, because I didn't know how to deal with it in my body. And so being touched early in that way was a full blown activation of igniting that in a fiery kind of way. I didn't know how to hold it in my body. So for years, I have had to learn, which is why I think I was directed down the route of Tantra to begin with. But then, so this is why I say it's opposing, because I know that my path, my journey was designed in that way so that I could learn to come back into the body and work with that potent sexual energy that was released and activated too young. But it can blow circuits in the body. And so this is why we have to come back into loving and learning to be with the energetics of the body, because it's like having a blown fuse. It doesn't mean that it's damaged. It just means that it needs replacing with something
Ashe.
else. And so the biggest thing that blocks all that healing that could happen naturally is that we get shamed for that activation. That is the thing for me, that because down the line we get told that sexual energy in women is unwanted on the planet, or that it creates chaos, or that it does all these things, or it gets unwanted attraction, and that somehow it was your fault that you got, molested or abused or whatever. So dealing with the layers of shame, and being held with that, and being with other sisters that can say that it wasn't your fault, it wasn't your doing, you were a child, you know. You carried and what I call the erotic innocent impulse. And unfortunately, you've been birthed into a planet where sexual energy has been turned into lust rather than love. And so it's understanding that in a bigger way, that the activations that happened in you, you bring through a pure, loving essence, but it gets corrupted on this planet because sexual energy is one of the most corruptible. It's the most innocent energy, but it's the most one that's being corrupted. It's the one that creates us as humans, and so it's almost like it's seen as an energetic resource, and you can reclaim all that back. Um, I'm still working with um, learning how to have that much energy and voltage through me. You may see at times that I sweat a lot when I'm talking because it's like a furnace activates in my body, you know, and it ramps up a lot more when we come to menopausal times. But there
Mm-hmm.
is this fire that happens when we hit puberty and when we hit perimenopause, and it's the same gateway, it's that same
Yeah.
activation of energy. So anything that wasn't, so at that time it was out of alignment for me. So I'm still processing that through the body because of childhood trauma. And that's the key to say that there is no when I get there, it's like it's an ongoing process. And now I understand how the energy moves from my body, so I can bring it back down and bring it to the cauldron of my womb where it's meant to reside. But when we get activated young, it like gets scattered through the body. And so we're bringing it back into where it's meant to be. And a lot of the time we don't want to be there because of the trauma that's happened there, but we've got to understand that, which is why again there's the things in the book to help with beginning to bring that in. And I am going to be, after my little sabbatical's over, creating like space where women can come together and talk and just sit with the energy and let it burn away the thing and burn away the shame around sexual trauma, because until we do that, you can't fully be in your energy and essence. Like Latonya was saying at the beginning, it kind of gets stuck in a field of sisterhood that's all around performative sexuality rather than embodied sexuality
Mm-hmm.
and sensuality. And so, yeah, I would say it's a long process, but just take time to be with the body daily, to tell the body it's safe now, and just to sit and breathe and feel what comes up. You don't have to think this. I say that in my book. It's not for the mind, it's for
That's
the
right.
body.
Yes.
For the body. The body is the record keeper. You know, the mind will tell you all sorts of tricks and things just to steer you away from your deepest healing, but the body knows exactly what it's doing. And we have to remember that.
Can I
I,
say something right here?
Shay. Yes.
Yeah, because when you say the body, it's like having a relationship with the body. I think that's why it was so important. As both of you stated, you kind of started with a sexual um introduction, Juicy, and I think Coco, you mentioned something else. And I think that that was so profound, although you probably didn't completely understand it, because most women, the majority of women, are not taught to embrace their body as a young as a child, right?
Mhm.
So you already have a negative connotation where we call it all of these different names. We don't even call it in the essence. We don't know how to love the very thing that gifts us, right? That empowers us. So by you guys going to that ground level, that basement level of sensuality and sexuality, and looking at the wound and deciphering the parts as they really are, and encouraging women to touch themselves and to love on themselves and to explore themselves, I think that that was so profound, because many of us were not allowed to even have that conversation. So it's almost like mother was like, look, do this part to get their attention because they out there in the field, out there running outside. They don't know what they're doing. They're not even touching themselves. They're not even loving themselves. They can't even draw their own body part if they needed to. So as you guys laid down that foundation in the basement, I just see y'all like cooking up shit in the lab. Like, yeah, they need this. They need this. Not even knowing that we need it because I've been in so many uh talks where Dr. Latanya is talking about it, and I can see the look on these women's faces of embarrassment of like, you are not talking about that. Like, how dare you? Audacity to tell me to masturbate? What is wrong with you? So I think that unbeknownst to you, that mother was working far before for this community because I do understand that everybody is not prepared to hear, to do, and to be here. They're just not. They will throw it out the window. They will come in and say, "What you talking this woo woo stuff?" They will make it about everything else besides themselves
Yeah.
because we have been taught it's outside of us, and you guys make us say, "No, it's not. It's in you. It is you. You are it." You understand? So I thank you. Like as you were talking, I was like, man, this thing has been strategically placed. Like I don't know if y'all realize, but y'all been duped. Y'all been. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I thank you, and I thank the women that have stayed the course in the community. And as I've said to Dr. Latanya, it's okay to pause because I've been in it and I've stepped away from it because I was just like, wait a minute, I need to breathe. It's a lot at one time. And to unlearn and learn at the same time, sometimes it had been a struggle just for me. Other people can maybe just go through it. But for me, I needed to, I am sometimes too much of a logical thinker. And I try to make things make sense, but I am definitely surrendering to that because I understand that that is not where I don't need to lead with my head at all.
No, no. You carry your wisdom. It's already in your bones, which is why the title of the book is because it's in you already. And like you say, before I even started writing that book, I'd written a small piece called Shame in another anthology, and it was with a black one of the best black author publishers in England, and we did like a Zoom call, and I write about pussy in there, and so many of the women were like, "I've never touched it. I don't know what it looks like," and I was like, "Wait a minute, but it's the most magnificent part of your body. It's what makes you woman, right?" And so that was an eye opener for me of, oh, women don't really know what lies between their thighs, really, as a portal. That there is not one human that isn't birthed through the womb, through pussy, through labia. So it's like, let's just get over our embarrassment, right? To the words, which is why when I wrote the book, I was adamantly told by mother, you are not using a flowery word like yoni or flower or lady guard or whatever. It is pussy.
Yes.
It is womb. That is what it is. It needs to shake people awake to the
Yes.
fact that you've become so detached from your own body that you feel embarrassed to talk about the very thing that makes you woman. This thing
Yes.
is
So the
woman.
last question I have is,
Yeah.
can you share how did you come up with this and what does this
So
symbolize?
the symbol of the book is the goddess. It represents the goddess Oya. And I didn't come up with that. It's done by an artist, Dory. Um, and when I was looking for things for the cover of the book, I came across that on Pinterest and it just like went boom.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I read that it was called Oya, I was like, no way. And then that was it. So the publisher wrote to her and then she told me the story of how that painting came about. And again, it was like, yes, this is the painting. This is, even now I get shivers. Like, this is the painting. This is about transformation. It is a portal. It looks like snakes. It looks like a womb. It looks like mother. It looks like everything all rolled in one. It is the thing. It was waiting for me. And I'll tell you why it was waiting for me, because that image was supposed to be part of somebody else's like divination deck,
Mm-hmm.
and it got left out by mistake. And I know that that was waiting for me.
Wow.
Wow.
For my book. I
Wow.
just knew it was waiting for my book. And speaking of Oya, because you said about my name,
Yeah, you know, I was getting ready to go there because that was the invitation to call her in.
I wasn't birthed with that name, but that was the first aspect of my name that came to me. And it was when just after my mother had passed, well, yeah, her life was taken. And I tried to escape everything, went and lived in a little village, and slowly began to like just become some atrophied woman. I thought I could escape in being a mum and a housewife and just having a nice, quiet little life. And I didn't. I got sick. I got spiritual sickness, and I lost the ability to walk. And I won't tell the journey of how I started walking, but I can remember again getting to a phase of just saying, what is this life about? And then seeing an apparition of the Orisha Oya on a riverbank. And they're just like looking at me, and she just said, do you really want to know? Are you ready to transform your life? And me not knowing who she was, I just went, okay. And then my whole life fell to pieces. And I went through a massive initiation with death and rebirth, and leaving my partner, leaving my home, you know, making myself home, everything just to follow this calling of the feminine. And after going through all that, she said I could take her name. That's
Wow.
how I got the middle bit of her name.
Wow. Well, thank you, Tony, for representing the mother tongue here and bringing in the voice of the sisterhood. If there's something that Tony left out, drop it in the comments. I'm gonna close out because I know that Coco and I could go for. There's so many layers to this, and I don't know. Maybe those of you who are still here, do you want a part two if she's available? Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much.
You don't have to go anywhere if we can pull you back up, but I want to see, do you all want a part two? Because we didn't even get through all of Coco's journey, because the journey with the mother really has so many layers, and really she's ordering your steps. And a lot of us run, you know, we run first or we'll call it something else. Is there something else that you all want me to ask in closing to our dear sister? Because I got a message for us. There's something for us to do, Coco. I won't ask you live. So don't, but there is a conversation we need to have around the dark feminine, but it's not just a conversation. It's a day shop, or I don't want to call it a workshop, but it is a laboratory experience for women that I think we need to elevate. So everybody's saying yes for part two if you're available. Look, wait.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you want? If we do a part two, that means you got to share in this energy. What are some of the things that you want her to talk about more? What do you want more of that you just need to chew on some more?
Can I just say that I love that you
more yeses are coming in.
About the dark feminine, because I've just completed a summit with a dear friend of mine all around the dark feminine, and yeah, it was exquisite, because people are feeling that pulse of going into the dark primal essence.
Yes. All right, I'm waiting on you all in the comments. You said yes, but tell me, what do you want to hear more of? Some of you who haven't been in the mother tongue yet in the reading room, you may need to read a few parts of the book. Okay, so Arlene Henry is saying shadow work, the initiations and activations of her journey, correct? Is that what you're saying? Because most people can't talk about initiations. So you mean of her journey? Okay, 2 votes for shadow work. This is wonderful, wonderful. Come on now, throw in a couple more. Um, Digging deeper. Say more about that, Tia. Digging deeper, because this is pretty deep. This dig alone is pretty deep. Say more about this. Let me see.
Oh, the
Creating
crew. Yeah, I can see
creating
the
new timelines in
Mm.
every choice. Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Let's go real cosmic. I like that
Yeah.
because that's when you become the real alchemist. How do I tap into nature to type into my feminine self?
Can
Uh,
I just say something about that? If people want to go to my website, there's a 16-page free booklet around connecting with nature and the body as a key thread to beginning to understand your body as sensual senses, elements, blah blah blah.
yes. So I know when you birth something like this, something shifts in you sometimes in your life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times people don't know or don't see that shift. I want to close with two things. What has it cost you to stand in this truth, and what has been the payment beyond money?
Okay. What does it cost me? Everything. You know, like I said, I had to let go of relationships, friendships, my business, what I was doing, lots of things to follow this call, to follow this pulse, to let go of my smallness, to let go of the small sense of me, to let go of the imprints around thinking that, I was damaged good because of trauma from childhood. I've had to let go of so much. But on the other side of that, I have found me, the true me, the soul depth of me, the plugged into the blueprint of who I came here to be, not who I was told to be. And I am just now, like I said, after birthing that book, I got told to rest, and I'm still in my rest period for another couple of weeks. But now I can feel this new sense of self opening, but also a new field of people where, um, yeah, like I'm being invited into beautiful collaborations and I'm being able to use my full energy and speak truth and be the fullness of who I am. And I wouldn't give that up for the world. Um, because I found a sense of self love that I didn't think was possible.
I
I, yeah, that
Yeah.
definitely was possible.
Can you talk to any of the sirens who are in the comments, who are they hear it, the siren is actually going off inside of them, but they don't know what it is. So maybe some of them,
Yeah,
you may be women in your tribes or tribes that you've called here, and a lot of them are also in my tribe as well, and they don't know how it
mhm,
shows up, because it can show up distorted, or it can
yeah,
show up really like
mm,
determined, right?
yeah. It's usually the thing that you're running away from the most, which is the thing that you're meant to do. I would, like I said, I'm dyslexic. I never thought I'd be a writer. I'd never thought I had anything constructive to say because that's what I was told, right? And so that call, that impulse that you get, it may be a repeating pattern or a repeating like nudge from something that keeps coming up that you think that you keep wanting to push away, but it gets louder and louder. And it can also be just this sense of knowing inside yourself that you're here to do something bigger, but you don't exactly know what it is. It's one thing I've learned about this path is that you don't get shown the whole picture. You get shown little
No,
steps. It's
that
like one step, then you get shown something else to do. One step. So it's like if you don't ever follow that first step, it's like you
yes,
don't ever get shown the other step. And
yes,
so it's like you have to just, it's almost like a free fall. And I'll just take, for example, the system that I've created, the spiral. That came to me in a dream. I could have ignored that and gone, oh, that was a weird dream. But I didn't. I trusted that it was still there in the morning to listen to it and follow it, even though it didn't make sense, even though I thought, how am I supposed to create that? The minute I just said, how am I supposed to create that? It was like I went out shopping and then the resources just came to me. It was like the weirdest thing. Things just start flowing. You'll know when you are following the truth of you because things begin to flow. There's no resistance. Things come with ease. We are meant to live with ease and flow, not in this resistance or fighting or striving. We are in collaboration with the mother. So, what we've spoken today will ring true for you. Like Latonya said at the beginning, you may not understand all the language, but you'll feel something. It's about feeling something. And so if you feel something from this call, guarantee that you're meant to be a silent.
Ashe, listen to that. And anybody else, are you feeling something from this call? Let us affirm our sister before she goes. Let's give her a word bath. Affirm anything that you, what I call a Sarah and Elizabeth, or excuse me, Mary and Elizabeth moment, where they met each other because they were pregnant with something and there was a belly leap. If there was something that you had a belly leap around in this sharing today, please drop it in the comments and just give any type of affirmation. Fill her up from pouring. And also, for many of us sirens, it is a lonely journey. So it's so good that we're having a reunion, to be able to use this language. So Shanta says, I know I'm a siren. My problem is I sometimes feel guilty for sounding the alarm because of the backlash.
The backlash. You will get backlash because you are sounding an alarm to how we've lived collectively for eons, for millennia. You are sounding an alarm. So there's going to be backlash because, like we said, it's going to shape people's belief about what is reality and what is ourselves. And like Latonya said, we can do it together. We can be in the same room. We can bolster each other. I was terrified. I still am. Some of the things I've been told that I need to say in the next 2 weeks. It's like, really? You want me to say that? So it's like, it never ends up because we are showing that the whole of what we've created is not fit for human consumption. So it's going to alarm people because people have got used to living small, dysregulated, traumatized, and think it's normal. So it's gonna sound an alarm. We just have to get used to the fact that the people that we're shaking are not our peers. We're here to give them information. They're not the people we're meant to sit in the room with, as in together. I've had to learn that the hard way because I thought, why can't I be with everybody? Why can't I? And it's like, because, girl, you are at the front of the path and you are sounding the alarm. Sorry. I'm not sorry. It's like you will feel lonely for a while because you may think there's nobody else saying the thing. But the more you speak, the more your tribe can find you. And I'm so grateful.
Ashe. The more you speak, the more your tribe can find you. Yes. Thank you. So good. I still want those of you, there's enough of you listening for there to be at least 5 comments before we close out Oshun's number, which is sweet honey. So we want to drip some honey on our sister. She said, thank you for answering the call of the mother. Mother is speaking loudly and clearly. Thank you, Coco, for being honest, pure, and authentic in a season that is so dark. I give thanks for you. And I want to say, as your sister, I give thanks to, I really appreciated your transparency when you shared the breakdown between you and your daughter. That is, to me, a demonstration of sovereignty, of ownership. It doesn't have to look perfect. And you don't have to hold any shame or perfection around that. That's the old model of pastorhood and ministry and of the old church of pretense. I put on a front on when I have the microphone, but my life is in shambles. And, transparency continues to free us. And every time we model it for so many women who are living performative lives, we set another woman free. And so I just wanted to acknowledge you and say thank you for sharing that, because many of us have imperfect relationships with our mother and with our daughters on both sides. But yet we're the one that's called to heal it in the lineage.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like you said, it's not about shame. It's because we've all been through this. But if we see it and we're living it, it's because we're here to heal it. It's not to like run away from it or be ashamed of it.
Yes.
The balm, as someone said.
Yes. So thank you for your obedience. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for allowing the mother to come to you and for setting a table for those of us just discovering her in ourselves.
Amazing.
That one right there. That speaks for so many people who don't even know how to say thank you. There's some women watching that don't know how to say thank you because they haven't had a mom or sisterhood to model affirming a woman. So they don't know. This is why we do this, is to show that sisterhood is possible, but we have to learn how to be present in it. So thank you, Megan, for such a substantive affirmation, because there are so many women just discovering her. And thank you, Coco. I see your light. My son is not speaking to me, and we are the same home. We are in the same home. Yeah, in the same home. Yes. Now, the mother and son, that's another topic I think we are going to have to take on definitely in another show, because the mother-son is an actual code. It's a code. That's why we see the Mary model, the Black Madonna holding the son, because there are some metaphysicians now, Coco, who are unleashing the truth of how the even when we move past parthenogenesis, where she recreated herself all the time, that the son is a distortion of the self in the mitochondria DNA. So that's another conversation that's deeper. We got to get into that one. The mother-son code and the mother-son dynamic. So in closing, is there anything that you want to share that you are feeling in this moment?
Just deep gratitude, just really deep gratitude that, it's been part of the book club, and the message is getting out to so many more women, and that, I really see you as an ally in this field, and I can see us doing beautiful things together. And yeah, giving this message that it is time for the women to use their voices. There's no more holding back. One of the reasons why I was told by Mother to write the book so candidly and so openly was to show that it doesn't matter how bad life is, you can get through the other side. I mean, I won't go into the story because I want people to read it, but my mum's life was taken by my father. So,
Oh, wow.
So it's there was a lot to unpack, but and there was a lot that I experienced as a young girl because my father was very a violent man. And so my story is about reclamation. My story is about we can move through the darkest night of the soul, and it is for a reason. There is always a bigger reason. And I want to just give women that may be trapped in domestic violence situations or abusive situations, or have experienced childhood trauma and sexual abuse and all those things that I've experienced myself, that there is a way through. And the book, why it's called True Feminine Nature, is because I plant the seed of that knowing that there is, triumph over trauma. So,
yes. Thank you so much for this extended show. But it's more than a show. This has truly been an activation for so many people who have been participating for weeks leading up to this conversation. And I know maybe things will be a little bit more smooth for both of us now. two two forces coming together with all of
Yeah.
these other people who are women,
Mm.
wombs,
Yeah.
portals who are coming
Mhm.
together,
Yeah.
now creating a force field that is
Mhm.
shifting the grid, our grid, but
Yeah.
also the grid.
They're
And
great.
I just honor. I love I love you. I support you from afar. And listen, she's over across the water, so we got to go there, and she has to come here. So we're gonna be going over to visit our sister in London, right, real soon.
Mhm.
So we love you, and there is nothing you can do about it, Coco. Thank you all for
Come, please come. And I'm definitely coming to see you guys. And thank you so much to everyone who has
yeah.
read the book and
Go
is
out
watching
and
the
get
book.
Coco's
Yeah.
book. Join us in the portal where you can still continue to unpack the book, even though we are moving into another discussion. The Mother's Tongue Reading Room is now a part of the membership, and so you have to come in because we do have creating these safe spaces very intentionally. And so stay tuned, because I think Coco and I will be doing something together soon. And also stay tuned for her availability for part 2. I do not want to be presumptive just because we're live. So we're going to share that with you all. So make sure you're plugged in. I thank you all for participating in the conversation. Thank you to Tony LeRae, who came in and who has been holding the space, and to the entire team Rebirth who were in the comments. I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. Ciao, everyone.